This is going to be a Heidi update. At the end of yesterday's vlog, you all saw that Heidi was limping. Here comes the kitty to listen to the conversation. You going to come listen to what happened to your sister today? Dad got up early and called the vet as soon as they opened at 8 o'clock, and we got in at 1. We got there, and I had given her pain medicine yesterday afternoon from when she had her back glitchy. So she wasn't limping as bad because she wasn't in as much pain. I mean, you could feel it, move it around, and she didn't make any noise. But, so we got there, and Dad, you know, hey, he has to leave the room. And her temperature was slightly elevated, which could have been, the doctor said, she's anxious because she's at the vet and she hates it. Her breed, sometimes doxies tend to run a little higher temperature. Or it's also what I'm going to talk about, part of that. I'll get to it. And we had to muzzle her because, no, she does not like being messed with. So they got a muzzle on her, and she was able to, because they had to put a towel around her and wrap her up, and all that was sticking out was this part of her face. She couldn't move. And they slipped one on. The first time she did it pretty well. She didn't have any problems with it the first time. They slipped it on first try, snapped it, and then she moved her joint all around. She said, you know, she doesn't even feel any arthritis grinded in there or anything. And I showed her the video clip. I had that on my phone still to show her how bad she was limping yesterday. Because last night, Dad had to carry her out to go to the bathroom because she didn't want to. She was just totally like this way because of lefty. This is my lefty. You don't need what's in this bag. It's this body wash and deodorant. Yeah. And so, she wanted to run tests on her, blood tests. And I said, do the full panel, do what you got to do. So, this is the bag from the veterinarian. That everything, there's a little, there, nope, there's that little card. But, she came back negative for heartworm, negative for this, but positive for Lyme disease. She has Lyme disease properties in her. What they would do, she said, she said most people don't want to pay the money to get the true test where they send it up to the lab, because she said it's an expensive test. Like upwards of $200 for this blood test to see if she has full-blown Lyme disease or not. She said most people opt to just treat it with antibiotics for the month. Then when the month is over, she goes in and gets a shot, a vaccine for Lyme disease. Then we wait 3 weeks to make sure she has no reaction to it, and she goes back and gets a second shot. She tested her blood to make sure her liver and kidneys were in normal range so she could take pain medicine for a little longer period of time while she's going through this. Everything came back good there. The only bad thing was the Lyme disease. So tomorrow she came out first with a bottle of pills, and these pills were like, and I said, there is no way I'm going to be able to give her that pill. I said I can do her pain pills because they're in quarters and they're little tiny pieces that I wrap in a piece of Braunschweiger. Like, I'll give her a piece of Braunschweiger with no pill, gobbles it down. So then I put her pill in it, and then she gobbles it down. She has no clue. I've got that down pat. And the liquid medicine she takes, which is an anti-inflammatory medicine, I put a tiny bit of milk in her bowl, and she'll lap it up. And the doctor's like, well, that's fine. And but when I saw these pills, I'm like, Doc, no way. I know there's no way that she'll eat that. She goes, there is a liquid form. I have to call it into a pharmacy. She said the pharmacy that they use, she said there's only one that she'll call it to. It's the only one she trusts. So they got it filled. We're going to pick it up tomorrow. So she'll be on a 30-day antibiotical thing. She has to do it morning and night. And then at the end of the 30 days, she has to go back and get a shot. And so that's what we're dealing with. She gave us brochures about Lyme disease in our dog, about ticks. In the spring, we're going to get this, because Heidi isn't on any kind of flea or tick because she hates putting that medicine in between her shoulders. She's had 2 ticks that I can remember. Well, Dad pulled one off of her up north when she was a puppy, but 2 ticks in the last few years since Mom's been gone. And they say it takes a long time for symptoms of Lyme disease to show up in canines, longer than humans. And but there's a new product on the line. It's almost like a flea collar, but it's for fleas and ticks, and they wear it out like a collar. So I think she'll do that. So the doctor said in about March, come and get one. It lasts 8 months. I think it costs like $60 or $70. So we're gonna try that next season for sure. And she also went over the whole, you know, if you think, you know, since your dog has these, and if she sleeps with you, if you think you've ever been bitten, or you think you might have something wrong with you and the doctors can't figure it out, tell them to test you for Lyme disease. Because she gave me this little card. No, you can't. Okay, but anyway, it shows the full-size tick and a nymph, which is a baby tick. And she said most Lyme disease come from nymph bites. The nymphs are so small you can't even see them, and they'll bite you and you get the Lyme disease. She said sometimes the adult ticks who latch in, and they might not even give you Lyme disease. But she said the nymphs are the ones you really gotta look out for, and they're very, very tiny. I mean, it's like a dot. It's like a tiny little dot you can barely see, because these are actual size. These are all the different ticks. So, I have a tick identification card. That's what we're dealing with. Lyme disease. Because Lyme disease, 1, will elevate your temperature. 2, it settles in your joints. It makes it very painful. And she said it'll skip from like leg to leg, and one will be painful. So we're treating her for that. We were at the vet for a while today, let's just say, but they're very nice there, and they trimmed her nails once. They had to put a muzzle on her again after the first time. She wanted her to get down and walk, but she said we're going to take the muzzle off, because most dogs won't walk when they have a muzzle on because they just want to get the muzzle off. They put her down, and that was the case. She wanted the muzzle off. She was not walking. So they unclipped it and undid her. She like went around the room, and she was limping just a little bit, but not nearly like she was. So then they wanted to get her and take her in the back to do this whole blood panel. And boy, she was dodging here and going over there, and finally they had to throw a towel on her again, get her. And that time, she gave us a heck of a time getting the muzzle on. She was pissed. By this point, she was pissed. You stuck something on my butt and checked my temperature. You poked and prodded me. You moved, bending my leg all over the place. Now I just want to bite your ass. That's just how she was. And then once they brought her back out from doing all this stuff, she didn't even yell getting her nails clipped, because I wasn't there watching, because she thinks that I'm going to save her. I think that's what the problem was last time. And once she came out and they put her on release, and she sits in the waiting room just waiting for the results, she doesn't shake or nothing. She knows it's over with, and she just gets to sit there. She knows. So, that's what's up on the Heidi Ho. Yep. So, see ya. Bye.